In today's video, I am going to teach you how to find the average score in Excel. To begin, open Excel and look at the grid of cells. Each cell is identified by a letter for the column and a number for the row. This is what makes it easy to organize data and calculate results. In this example, we will set up a small table where each student has a name and a score, and then we will calculate the average score. First, type student name in cell A1. Make sure you click cell A1 so that the text goes exactly where you want it. This header helps you remember what information belongs in that column. It also makes your sheet easier to read later, especially if you share it with someone else. Next, type score in cell B1. Click cell B1, then enter the word or phrase exactly as shown. This will be the header for the column that holds the test scores. With clear headers in place, the average calculation will be much easier to understand. Now, add a third header. In cell D1, type average score. Click cell D1 and enter that label. Even though the average result will come from your scores, placing the label in advance makes the sheet look organized and professional. It also reminds you what the final number represents. After setting up the headers, you will fill in the student names. Go ahead and fill rows A2 through A5 with names like John, Sarah, Alex, and Mary. You can type one name in each row. Click cell A2 and enter the first name, then move down to A3 and type the next name, and continue until you have 4 names total in A2, A3, A4, and A5. Take your time with this step, because the average calculation will rely on the scores you enter next. Once the names are in place, you will enter the matching test scores. Fill rows B2 through B5 with test scores like 85, 92, 78, and 88. Click cell B2 and type 85. Then click cell B3 and type 92. Then B4 and type 78. And finally B5 and type 88. It helps to double-check that each score lines up with the correct student row. The first name should match the first score. The second name should match the second score, and so on. Now that the data table is filled in, you are ready to calculate the average. Before you type the formula, locate the target cell where the average will appear. The instruction says to click the target cell E2, so click cell E2 now. This is where Excel will display the final calculated average value. Next, type the code =average B2 B5 in cell E2. Make sure you include the equal sign at the beginning. The formula uses the average function, and the range B2 to B5 tells Excel exactly which cells to include in the calculation. In other words, Excel will look at all the scores in that column range and compute their average. After you type the formula, press Enter on your keyboard. This tells Excel to run the calculation. You should immediately see the calculated average result appear in cell E2. If everything was entered correctly, the number shown is the average of the scores you placed in B2, B3, B4, and B5. At this point, you have successfully built a simple worksheet that calculates an average from a set of values. The key idea is that you organize the data with headers and then reference the correct range inside the average function. That is what makes the result automatic. So if you ever change one of the scores, the average will update as well. That covers everything you need to know. And that is all there is to it.